Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. We are back looking at some of the news in War Thunder, and even though a major update has just come out, there's already a bunch of changelogs and things going on. Starting off with the becoming a tester for the French Navy, you basically need to complete 12 daily tasks to receive the tester status, or you can buy one of the CBT access packs, either the Eagle or the Duguay Truan. Either will work. The other interesting thing about it is in order to get a star, you have to play rank 3 or higher of random sea battles and earn 10,000 mission points per day. The tasks reset every 11 GMT every day. Usually there's normally about 20-25 of these general stars, and also if you get yourself 10 tester stars, you receive a special decal, the emblem of the French Navy. So this basically means that you can get yourself some pretty cool stuff. Only 10k a day means that you can sort it out. So make sure to get that going so you can get yourself the decal and also the good old set of French CBT. Haven't seen any destroyers out yet. Hopefully we get to see some soon, because, you know, it's always nice to see new content in the game. On top of the French CBT stuff, there is also German Navy Day that's being celebrated, going from the 14th of June until the 17th of June. Now, there are two, or technically three things, which are going on for this one. The first one is there is a decal that's available from the 14th to the 19th of June, and all you have to do is play 3 battles using German naval vessels, whether it's coastal or blue water, doesn't matter. They just have to be rank 3 or higher, and if you get an activity of 70% or more, you get yourself the emblem of the German Navy headquarters, which generally looks pretty nice, the good old anchor, and a bit of gold on it as well. They're also bringing back 2 destroyers, which used to be part of the German tech tree, the Type 1939 T-31, and also the Type 1936 Z-20 Carl Golster. These both were available in the past, but they're bringing them back for Golden Eagles, which I think is generally pretty cool. They are quite expensive, but we'll have a look at both of them now. So the first vehicle we're going to be looking at is the Z-20 Carl Golster. Now, this vehicle actually used to be pay to win. The reason why is because the standard tech tree vehicle, the Anton Schmidt, which is in the same class, used to be at the same BR. And basically the Carl Golster was faster and had more secondary armaments. Because of BR decompression, though, it isn't at the same BR anymore, so isn't pay to win. But also at the same time, it's still a good vehicle. Like it has the 5128s, which is really nice. They've added some vehicles recently to 4.7 to really bolster that area for the Germans. You got the Z43 and also the Z46 and the Z32. The Elbing is absolutely awful, but these destroyers are pretty good. They're not as good as the 5.0 American ones, but they're also a lower BR. And as a lineup, if you want to do dailies or specials or whatever with the Carl Golster and friends, you can have a pretty good time on it. It has very good rewards, it has a very low repair cost. It's pretty much, you know, the same as a lot of these other destroyer premiums. They're never going to lose USL, and also at the same time, they're going to fit right into some pretty nice lineups. So if you're looking for a premium, you know, and you don't want to wait for this one to actually go on offer, because this one is a much better price than the Carl Golster and also is much more useful at 4.7, then it's not a bad pick. I will say there are better options, especially in the tech tree itself with the new vehicle they put in, but it can get you to that point pretty effectively. The T-31 is also on offer, weirdly enough, the Type 1939. Now this one is at 4.0, which actually puts it at the same BR as a rank 1 destroyers, as you can see here. But the interesting thing about the T-31 is it's actually a rank 3. So you can still do all your dailies with it, you can still do all your specials with it, but it's a lot lower BR, so it's a lot easier to use. So this is actually one of those unique vehicles that is at a much higher rank than it should be compared to its BR, and therefore you can kind of abuse that if you want to do dailies and specials. It does have 4 single 105s, which are completely fine. Wish they did a bit more damage, but overall they're okay. It does also have a good complement on the secondaries with a quad 20, 2 dual 20s, and also 4 dual 37s, and the G7s, which are the standard torpedoes you get in here. So overall, it's a good ship. Like, it works very well. And also at the same time, you get this HE shell, which can do a decent amount of damage with a good reload rate, but you don't get access to AP. But usually at 4.0, that's not too much of a big issue. If I was going to look at like the Carl Golster and the T-31 and just decide which one to pick up, I'd pick up the T-31 just because of its overall power at being just a rank 3 bats rating 4.0. And then what I'd do is I'd pick up the Z47 too and have a bit of fun with it. But it's a good pickup because of its daily and special use. If you're looking for a vehicle to be, you know, dominant in the game, that's not this one though. It's not going to take over games or anything like that. It's going to be very standard and do all right for itself. So pretty much as simple as that. Also, since the major update, there were 2 changelogs which have come out following it, mainly fixing a bunch of bugs. And I've got to say, after the first day, there was quite a lot of bugs I ran into, which were a little bit frustrating. So hopefully they'll get fixed in due time. One of the other things is I won't be covering the updates changelog. Instead, we'll be having a look at the data mines over the next few days. And let's just say they take a bit of time. So we'll see how it goes. We first of all had update 2.27.0.22 on the 14th, and this fixed a bug that was not exactly great. Basically, it meant that you couldn't do battle tasks, you couldn't also do battle pass tasks, or some other tasks or achievements. So your dailies, your specials, and also your battle pass challenges just couldn't be done. So obviously that's pretty bad. There was also a bug fixed that caused trees to grow on some types of airfields and aircraft missions. So you would just spawn and there would be trees in your face. Obviously a bit of an issue. So luckily they've fixed that, and also the destruction mechanics of APDS and APCR rounds have been changed. So now the projectile doesn't destroy with impact, but loses armor piercing capability, depending on the thickness of the first armored obstacles, as well as the spaces between armored elements affected. So we'll have to do some testing to see how this has affected the usability of these rounds, and hopefully it's not too bad. The fragment generation template of ground vehicles and aircraft HE shells has been changed, so piercing capability spray damage has increased. I've got to be honest, a lot of aircraft I feel like are doing a ton of damage right now. It's very easy at the moment to pilot knock people, so the penetration definitely feels pretty aggressive, so we'll have to see how that goes on. For a Challenger 2, the incorrect display of the dozer blade has been corrected, which is nice, and also the Sark Mark 4A was literally missing parts of its damage model, meaning that it had no armor at certain parts and you could just shoot straight through it. They've fixed that now. And then also the M1 KVT, the gun elevation limits depending on the Visma modification has been removed. So, you know, therefore you don't have to worry about that at all. And also the IS-244, the smoke reload at capture points has been added. They did add smoke grenades to those things. So make sure to respade them if you haven't already. And also remember, the PT-76 for China is being removed in about a week and a half. So make sure to get it before it's completely removed from the game. It's being removed for the fact that they didn't use it in real life. But if you research it now, you'll be able to get it. If you don't research it now, it will be gone forever. There was also update 2.27.0.29, which came out on the 15th of June, and this fixed a bunch more bugs, which came out with the update. There was an error on entering the hangar that's been fixed. That might occur with some graphics with outdated drivers. There was also a bug fixed where enemy tanks were not displayed entirely in replays, only the 3D decorations, meaning that they were ghosts, and then also a bug fix that caused the game client crash while switching to the cockpit view on the Mac platform. There is a game-breaking bug out there right now for Xbox, where they seem to be struggling to connect to the servers. Hopefully that is fixed, because, you know, it's never nice to see some game-breaking stuff going around. Then, for aircraft, You had the J-34. There was a bug fix where rocket pods were displayed on the aircraft without secondary armament. The bomb drop order for the Tu-14T has been corrected. The turret targeting angles have been corrected for the late 298D. And then the T-18B, there was a bug fix where dropping torpedo was displayed through the bomb bay doors. And the 105G, there was a bug with a missing pylon for one of the snake eyes. That's been fixed. The MiG-29, there was also a bug fixed, which prevented the dubbing of the Fab 500SH bomb preset. Low resolution for the second generation TVD on some helicopters has been fixed as well. The max payload's been corrected on the A7s, and there was also a bug affecting display of the instruments in the cockpit for the Buccaneer, weirdly enough, so that's been fixed. For the Jaguars, the flare pod texture's been fixed. For the Phantom FG-1, the drop tanks have been added, and the name of the radar has been fixed in X-ray view through the J8F. The F4F late, the twin shots of the AGM-65 missiles has been fixed, and the F5E and 104J, the missing hood in the cockpit, has also been restored. You can see that there's just been a ton of changes, and this was a day after the update, showing that these should have been in the update or weren't ready to go, or they just decided to wait on them. There was also a bug fix that allowed drop tanks to be ejected whilst the aircraft was on the ground as well. And in ground vehicles, the SARC Mark 4A can now reload its smokes, so similar to the IS-2. The AUF-1, the thickness of the barrel has been increased to 40mm, because that's the same as other vehicles with the same caliber gun. The Freccia, the magnification of the sight is now for at 9 to 20 times instead of 2 to 9 times, which should be pretty nice. And then also, at the same time, the Sherman 3-4, the armoring has been fixed on it. The Santal, there was also a bug that's been fixed that prevented the vehicle from turning while floating in the water. The discharge order of the smoke grenades has been changed on it as well. And also sound changes, because for some reason, they also brought in some sound changes that weren't on the dev server. So first of all, they've changed the sound of the Vulcan again. And also, they've changed the correct sound of it. So instead of it being the 6,000, it's now 3,000. Therefore, it should sound correct, even though it doesn't. Then, for voice messages of the tank crew about switching on and off night vision, they've been removed. So, they don't just constantly talk all the time. And then also a sound of enemy allied ground vehicles' engines become more noticeable or muffled with distance. This, I believe, is a little bit overtuned right now. I wish it was a little bit lower, because I can hear people from miles away, and it's absolutely ridiculous. Also, the work on the new dialogues of the ground vehicles crew is still in progress. Incorrect replies will be fixed, poor acting of voiceovers will be re-recorded, and this will be implemented to all languages, but first of all for Polish and Chinese, since there are many complaints. Seems like the voice actors didn't constantly do a great job. But that's all the changes for the changelogs. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day. And I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank Millie Draper, Juan the Panda, Nick R. Kupila, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Merciless Reaper, Orange Tail, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Moxie B. Young, Peter Grayling, Jerry Provolt, Bareen, Alan Hacker, Sem Arslan, Uncle Bean, Derek R., and Lafouche for supporting the channel.